mellow. Here, I'm drawing. I need to play more Fallout 76, but I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna color this piece. I started coloring this on my iPad, and I can't use that coloring on the computer, which is a problem. Like the idea of coloring it on the iPad is super convenient until I want to work on it at home, and then I don't want to color at the iPad at home. I have a big tablet right in front of me. Like I'd rather use that. So anyway, this is a Kainé from Nier. I got the Jacko challenge. So I got it all inked out and flatted, and I just need the coloring and the peach bubbles. I forget what I was going to say exactly. I wrote it down. Let's get separating out this in flat color. Now I have me, then I'm actually masked, flipped mask. And we're going to use some markers. I'll use felt pen or markers. I got these Copic pen brushes. I like them okay, but I have to use a lot of pen coloring, so sometimes I just felt pen. This one doesn't have size sensitivity, so I gotta adjust the size more, which I do have a little dial thing, but I don't think it's got a charge. I don't think it's got a charge to it. So that's color. I also got these Copic palettes too that are easy. Yeah, let's do the Copic. How's that looking? I'm gonna start by cutting. So she's super light right now. Just kind of like intentionally light. Slowly work it up by layers. They darken it up as it's still incredibly light. When you're doing like a full marker style, you want to pretend like you're actually coloring in markers, and you got to start light and work dark and really take away the color. So areas that are going to be like light still, you want to keep light. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can always darken them up later. But you can't really lighten them up, although you can because it's digital and you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm sure that none of this color is really showing on the stream that much too. I can kind of barely see it on my tablet. See it a little bit on my art monitor. Tablet has better color than my art monitor. I think this thing needs calibrated. This is what this is Kainé's ass. Drawing Kainé's underpants was difficult. What echo? There's an echo? What's echoing? Okay. It was echoing, thank you. Somehow the other mic got turned on. I'm not sure how that happened. This is a confusing setup. It's fixed now. It's dead. I must have clicked a thing and never noticed it. I wonder if I was doing that. Was I doing that yesterday too when I was doing the art stream? I blame weed. Blame the edibles. Clicking things like crazy. At least the death counter is finally gone forever. Yeah, I must have accidentally clicked onto it. I don't know. I wish I could have some music going too, but I don't want to listen to royalty-free music. I don't really have a playlist anyway. And obviously I can't listen to licensed music because, you know, stream would not be able to be archived. But I usually actually don't listen to any music when I'm doing art anyway, because I'm a weirdo. Okay, let's get some darker color in here. Some actual real color. So because I did start coloring this in Procreate on my tablet, I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. Normally, when I start to color skin like this, I'll look at it and be like, okay, where is the light coming from? That's an important question. Figure out before we start coloring. But I kind of know it's going to be coming from uh, up here. You can't see that up here, but from the front, like in front of her. I don't know how to illustrate that. Oh, I picked up. I can pick my color again. That's what's good about working from a palette. You could just have them all. Instead of having to go through and pick out a color I normally would do when I'm picking my own colors. I really like Procreate a lot. It's a good program, but it just when I'm sitting at home, I much prefer to do everything on the computer. Like I don't really have a good setup to get comfortable using the tablet somewhere. Except for sitting in front of the computer, which I might as well just be using the computer anyway. You know what I mean? This chill stream is just gonna be me rambling while I color. If I get this done pretty quickly, then I'll go and work on that when I was working on yesterday. Swimsuit of Sick of Atoll. And colored as well. I'll probably just be finishing this my entire stream. Coloring is not the fastest process in the world. Not the way I do it anyway. I could probably speed it up. I do feel like I've gotten a lot faster over time, you know, which makes sense. You do something a lot, you get better at it, you get faster. I should get like a Bob Ross wig on while I'm doing art streams. I feel very Bob Rossy, just rambling while I'm coloring. Happy little back or coloring right now. That's not her name. Color uninked at all. Not even inked yet. Took me like an hour just to sketch out that drawing last night because I worked on it and I made one and I realized like I hate this and just completely cleared the canvas and started from scratch. That's drawn for you. But I missed in when I was playing Nier, which I did play like a lot of Nier, and I think I got all the side quests. Maybe no, I didn't actually. I gave up on doing that. But I don't remember them ever addressing why does Kainé dress like this? I feel like it's not super in character for her. Well, you'd think that the story would address it at some point, 'cause especially when you do like her history stuff, it definitely talks about her not being dressed like this. Like she talks about putting boots on and pants and stuff like that. So at some point, it's like after her grandma died, she started just dressing in lingerie, and I don't know why. So I don't know if I missed something in there, or if there is just no reason and she's just in lingerie. Because why wouldn't she be? Really, the answer she dressed like this because Yoko Taro is a horny man. Is it easy to move in this? I mean, if you don't care about being nude, I guess. That would be my concern, is moving around in lingerie. I would simply be showing people all of my junk all the time. But she must be okay with that because her underpants do that already, no matter how she's moving. Her underpants is very revealing. I don't know what I'm doing with this cheek. They're, I mean, when she's standing upright, they're kind of under her robe, her light nightgown. Or camisole? What is that called? It's a camisole. Right now they aren't though. That's for sure. That's for dang sure. I'm just kind of scribbling right now, but I can blend this. That's my problem with this Copic pen, which maybe that's how real Copics are. I don't know because I've never bought a set because I'm really bad about actually using physical media when I buy it. Cool to have, but then markers dry out over time and they're really expensive. They're very expensive. So I've never used the real ones, but that's how I use these digital ones. Lots of blending. Which I guess, yeah, I've used Prismacolors before and it's a lot of blending too. Dark there. I'm not getting dark enough. Go over it with an air. That feels too lighter. They can do because power. I'm gonna blend some. Smooth it all out. Make it look nice. Oops. And I feel like this should be darker right here. But I don't like faces are hard to color. I'm bad at it. I should practice. Let's airbrush. Airbrush in a little bit of color here. There we go. There we go. Ah, too far. We zoom in too far. Okay. Now we can do some shading stuff. Brush too big. Make brush smaller. So much trouble with noses too. Faces and noses are difficult things. They're complicated. I really struggle with that drawing like an anime style because I want to like fully render faces out always. Like I'm not good at like not doing that. Very compelled to all the time. Thank you, hi hi. It'll be a nice color too. Okay, that's enough airbrush. I never used to use the airbrush in coloring ever, and it's only recently that I'm like, oh, this is a really useful tool. Why was I not using it before? Sometimes you just need a little splash of color. Live online models? No, I don't. I don't actually really know what that is. You mean like photo references of live people or Is that like a programmer? I do sometimes use photo references, but I didn't for this. I just used this is the Jacko challenge, so I just used the picture of Jacko, the original artwork of her doing the pose. And then kind of looked at pictures of Kainé to be like, okay, how do her underpants work? I had to use a lot of different pictures of Kainé to figure out how her underpants work. Oh, yeah, sometimes I draw from live people. Not this time, though. It helps to do that, though. Honestly, like using references is always a good idea. Sometimes it's just hard to find a reference if you're looking to do an exact thing, you know? Like you want a specific pose, and you can search around for a reference forever and not find it, so you gotta keep sketching it until you get it right sometimes. But that's also because I'd rather be drawing than researching drawing. I really should use references. Oh, thank you. I'm not actually a professional yet. Someday maybe. Someday maybe people will pay me for this, but not yet. I think her butt line needs to be not so strong there. A little smaller. This is where I want the airbrush because it's just like that Copic marker is too strong. And I want to just sketchy line. I want to just really gently get the shading in there. That's too much shading, but too dark. It's like this. What's going on over here? I don't know what. Okay, now that needs the marker. That needs the marker. I'm kind of thinking I probably should have taken the work I had done in Procreate already and brought it here so that I don't have to redo all this. I ended up really liking what I did in Procreate, but stuck on the tablet. But it doesn't ever hurt to get more practice. Kind of light over here by the side of the knee, but also that's where kind of the light should be hitting from, so I don't want to make it too dark. But it just sort of feels like it's getting lost. I don't know. The shade. Blender in here. But having no music in the background also really makes this feel like a Bob Ross video. Although Bob Ross didn't giggle to himself so much and he wasn't made of anime. Man, someone should make a Bob Ross VTuber. That would be so cool. Get somebody who does a good Bob Ross impression. Get them to color on the internet. The Bob Ross VTuber. I wonder if you'd probably get in trouble by his estate. That would be neat though. You'd probably do like a fake Bob Ross. Joe Roth. Just have the big afro, the calming voice. Okay. That looks pretty good. I want like more shading in here. I'm just gonna use the airbrush real fast. I remember I used to think like Bob Ross wasn't that good. Like I used to when I was younger and I was in the art school and I had a highly inflated opinion of myself. Like he's just like just doing formulaic paintings. Not that great. And then I look back at that like why was I such a prick? Like why was I like that? Bob Ross's art is cool. And he encouraged a lot of people to do art also. Because everybody should. You know what I mean? Like nobody should feel like, oh, I can't do this. This is too hard. This is like a natural talent you have to have. But no, anybody can pick up a pen, something, start drawing. Fun, satisfying. Oh, you would have to do that, huh? That would be hard. I don't know how to rig that. You could probably just have like a static, just a regular animation. You know, like his idle animation would just be him waving a paintbrush on a canvas. I did actually have an idea because one of the things that VTube Studio can track is the position that you're pointing at on your screen, like your cursor. So you could really use that for doing art. And I had kind of thought about trying to do that, but it seemed like too much work, and I dropped the idea. But maybe someday, just have it like you could move with where you are on your canvas. That would be really cool. But it would be a pain in the ass to rig. So I kind of like did a quick sketch for it, then was like, yeah, maybe not. What am I doing? That's the color I want. Why is IRC flashing? Talking to me. I should make IRC not flash. It really annoys me when it does. Like, why can't it just make one beep at me and say, hello, you have a message. Someone said your name. That it constantly flashing at me while I'm trying to color Kainé here. Kainé deserves my full attention. Okay, let's do the ambient occlusion now, which is where you take. Oh, you're too dark for. So, light acts with skin in a weird way, where skin is not entirely opaque, and so when you have like an armpit or something, or like under a boob, or anywhere that skin's gonna be next to each other, the light's gonna bounce back and forth. Um, in there. So like we've got this butt right here, so I'm just gonna take some red, that there. And what I usually do is I'll just trace over lines like that, because that is your ambient occlusion skin, your little skin trick, skin hacks. Want to make something look more realistic and cool. Put a little put a little red in the lines, especially like ears and stuff, ears and fingers and boobs, noses, anywhere that there's gonna be that fold of skin. Oops. This is just knowledge I stole from some YouTuber who's a professional comic artist. I forget his name too. I should give his name because I am pretty much repeating what he's like. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna do that from now on, and I did. The end. And that man was Albert Einstein. And like right in here, especially. You can also do like advanced things where you trace in where the shadow's gonna be, but I've never been effective. But you see that in comics, some Western comics. That nice trace line there. Yeah, it's such a little thing and it makes such a big difference. Just add that little bit of red. What happened? And I kind of want to do some darker, or maybe it's just it's like too light right there. I'm gonna go through and airbrush that a little bit. And put enough marker here. Her back should not be like totally white. Like she looks like she's blown out. Maybe I will go in and add some more shadows. Airbrush. Oh, too many, too many. Back up, back up. Ass looks blown out too. You gotta have some color in your ass. Plus, if it's all blown out like that, you can't see highlights, which is the most fun part to add. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's add. Gotta give her a nice round booty. Kainé booty. Okay, highlights. That was not the right tool. This is the right tool. Nose highlight. Color going. Another thing too that I like to do is that gives things just a little bit more dimension is add like there's gonna be light bouncing from behind her. So you don't want just like a harsh shadow edge, you know? I might overdo this sometimes. Just really like the effect it gives. This is supposed to be like on the floor though, so I'm not going to do that because the light's not going to be going from behind her on the floor. But the back here, definitely. Give her some back highlight there. See, that just like, looks so much nicer. Like it's such a more realistic looking thing. And also I can do that for here too. Just gives her more dimension. I've started just when I'm coloring boobs, I just go all the way around the boob. I'm kind of starting to do the same thing with butts too. You gotta highlight what's important in a drawing, you know. Probably don't need to do that. At least not with a marker. Yeah, I think that actually detracts. Undo all that. That's something you don't see Bob Ross ever. He doesn't have an undo button. Get one. Heaven or wherever he is. The afterlife. Bye. This definitely. Ooh, would you look at all this color I need? Forgot all about that poor little knee. It needs some real blends. I feel like this highlight color could be lighter too. I don't know. Not very highlighty. Just lighty. That's better. Same thing. And the shin is protruding out a little bit, so it's going to catch the light too from behind. I'm going to trace up the shin a little bit, and then go to the calf. This up here too. I don't know. Too much line there. Makes it look rounder though. I need to get some kind of shadow in here because I have this line here for no reason. A lot of times I just guess what bodies are supposed to, and then later I'm like, that didn't make a total amount of sense. So let's see. Let me think. Light's coming here, so this is gonna be like indented right here, but then it's also whisper just like Bob Ross. The Bob Ross themed stream. Can't get him out of my mind. That's too much. Like she's. It's not what we're going for. This particular piece. Okay, that's pretty good. So then the last thing I want to do is I want to just get a nice pink color. And where's pink? And then just kind of airbrush in a little bit of highlights here and there. Not like highlights, but like make her a little rosier, ruddier up. That nice pink. This one I'm gonna have to go in, make my own pink. I like that. Okay. A little very lightly. We want to just give her some color. Not very light. You know what I'm actually gonna do? The reason I work in multiple layers like this, all of the shading that I just did is on this clipping mask layer, right? Just gonna plop it down to the layer below. And then I can work from fresh up here, and that way if I need to adjust the color, it's much easier. Lightly, lightly. Color into. Doesn't look round enough. Not too much color, but it's not in the right shape. I erase. I want to see Bob Ross paint like an anime Bob. That would be really good. Be a good stream. Resurrect him. Make this happen. Bob, the people need you. The internet needs you for memes. I'm gonna do the reverse check. See how it looks. I think this here needs to be a little lighter. Do I have that shape? Good, I guess. We'll just eraser. Will that work? I think that works. Kind of should make the knee a little redder too. Oh, I overrode my pink. Dumbass. New pink again. Knees can be kind of. Okay. And I don't think this color's right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just hit the, that was the reverse button. A little more red. Little. What happens if we just crank up the saturation much? There's not really a lot of color on this layer. I feel like I lost some highlights in the face here. So okay. So then what I like to do, I color the lines, the line art, and I just like to do that as I'm going. I don't have to wait all the end. Clip a mask on top of my ink layer. And make a nice brown color. Maybe that. Go through and color all the lines. That one black. Ink layer. Annoying. Probably combine them. Maybe. Don't normally work that way. Trying a little something something. Just frustrating myself. This is not. I mean, it is legal. This is legal. Kainé's butt is legal. You can't even see the whole thing. She's covered. Very decent. If I'm not gonna get in trouble for streaming Amnesia with all the weenuses that were in that game, I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble for streaming Kainé's butt. Which is a covered butt, by the way. That's not an uncovered. I'm not drawing nudes here on the Twitter. I mean on the Twitch, whatever platform this is. Anyway, don't report me. Let's not find out. I'm pretty sure that you get in trouble with Twitch when they just feel like it. That should be black, so. I have the wrong eraser selected. It's a good stance. Protect Kainé's ass. No, I'm pretty sure you can stream this game on here, so I'm guessing that her butt it would be fine. Nothing that's not in the game. Well, she's not doing the pose in the game. Like, not like an overtly sexual pose. What if I get to... That is flatted. But this little triangle here is supposed to be this color, so I couldn't tell if I'd forgotten to flatten it, if it was white, if it was that color. She's blocking low. Gotta block low. What are their... all these backs? I just like doing this because it adds extra dimensionality to the, you know, and it kind of softens it up a little bit. And also I tend to just draw weird lines on people's bodies, and it's nice to make them less less noticeable. Like this little triangle here. Probably just delete those lines, but I feel like it needs it. I don't know. I don't know how bodies work. Yeah, I just draw here. Very delicate. There's a lot of skin in this. This Kainé drawing is weird, I know. Kainé showing a lot of skin. Cursive. Just a little butt. Just a little Kainé butt. Alright, did I miss any skins? I all this. Quick way to tell, just turn off the clip-in mask. You have all the skins is oh, the ear, we missed. Ah. Beautiful. Try again. Think, I think got them all. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Let's do the hair. Okay. Kainé's hair is very light. Very, very, very light. How do I go about this? Something like that, maybe. I'm coloring on the right layer before we get too far there. Right layer. Suddenly developed a lisp. Speech impediment, I guess, not a lisp. Lisp would just be if I was talking like this. That's not a lisp. I was saying no, my R is wrong. I had a lisp when I was a little child. I had to go to speech therapy to get rid of it. I've run out of words. All I can do is color now. I need to learn to draw braids someday, because boy, can I not draw braids. I read a good guide on how to do it once, and then I completely forgot about it immediately after I read it. I need to find that guide again. Braids not the easiest thing to draw. You ever really thought about a braid? What a braid looks like? Try drawing one. So you will think about it. Oh, my fucking mic unmuted itself again. Why does that keep happening? I must be pushing a button that's like keyed to it. Huh. Oh well. Sorry for the reverb, the echo. I don't mean to echo at ya. I had two microphones active. They were the same microphone, but you wanted to hear them twice. Well, you just take let me draw it real fast. Okay, so here's how a braid gets made, right? You take 3 strands of hair. Well, it's like 3 groups of hair, not really strands. Like this is your head up here, and you've got these all separated. Okay? You with me so far? Okay. And then you take this strand and you cross it over between those 2 strands. Like that. And then you take this one on here on the right, and you take it and you put it over here. And then you take this one and it goes in here, and you just repeat that until you have a braid. And that's how you make a braid. I hope those drawings helped. But now drawing a braid, I don't know how to do that. Oops, what layer am I coloring? I'm not using the right pen, I'm not using the right layer. I'm a dang mess. I'm a dang mess over here. I like this. Looking good. It's it's simple once you start doing it. Like you get 3 strings together and start braiding them. It makes sense. It gets challenging when it's the back of your head. And I have never really mastered also like a French braid, which is where you pick up hair in the strands as you're going. I've never really figured out how to do that. It's really cool looking though. I love braids. I love plaited hair. I just I'm too lazy to do it on my own hair. That's why I wear my hair short. But I'm a fan of braids. I'm a braid respecter. Not the video game braid. I do not respect that. All right, if I start echoing again, holler at me because I'm gonna figure out what key that is. It might just be not that one. Not that one. I have some button that's apparently keyed to unmute my mic. OBS. I don't know what button it is. What the hell does Kainé's hair look like? Let's find a reference of that. Kainé, Nier. Very light, extremely light. It's much lighter than I have it here. I should have some gray in here. That's what I'm telling. Actually, what I can do here is I can just go to my hue, saturation, luminosity again, and I'm gonna take the saturation and go boom, boom. Oh, a little too far. That might be good. I like that. I'm liking the way that's looking. And then maybe lighten it up a little bit too. That's more Kainé. That's more Kainé. Okay, I like that. I could go through and shade it a little bit more, but I don't think I need to do that because I think I'm coloring the line art. So I'll just color the line art like a darker version of the shading, and that'll work. But she does need some highlights. We're just gonna go straight to white for the highlights because she got very white hair. I'm also a little burpy today, so if that's coming through on my mic, I apologize. I would not outright belch at you ever, but I might make a little little sound with my throat by accident. And I apologize if that happened. Good. It's important to not hear things. Kainé. I like Kainé. She's my friend. All of the characters in Nier are my friend, except for maybe Nier, who I'm just neutral towards. That guy's got some. Oh, also that weapon shop kid. I don't like him. He's really got some issues. That boy. He's had a rough life, I know, but so has everybody. Really, bad planet, bad Earth, man, bad future. All because of dragons. He really is not great. Really sucks. In fact, like even Nier is realizing that too. He's like, dude, what is your problem? You need to chill it a little bit, my dude. And if you know Nier is saying that to you, then you know you. There, that's shiny, Kainé hair. Color lines. So for the line color on this, I'm gonna just do like that. You don't want to go too light with the lines, you know. You want them to be visible. Something like that'll work good. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Need to look at the reference again. I could probably go lighter even, but I worry that they're gonna get lost in the shoulder. Should have shaded around there. But this color's fine. If we make problems, we'll solve them later. You always got to keep marching forward in the realm of artwork. Sometimes you march backwards when you fuck up, and you gotta fix things. Right now, we march forward. hair from here to there. That's a headband. We don't want to color. We do need to. My line work got a little messy there. I'm going to pretend that there's not hair. Not really sure what happened to that line work. Also, I apparently forgot to color that part of that ear. We go fix that. Hair gets difficult to color lines of, and that's why I'm not talking. So you're not getting the wrong focus and concentration. Lots of little lines here doing different things. What's the flower called? I'm blanking on what the name is. It's like moon lily or something. I'm gonna have to look up what those look like for reference because they're kind of glowy and weird when I color that. I'd look up white flower Nier. There. That looks like Kainé now. That's her hair. I like it. I like the way it's looking. I really should have shaded the skin here though. This all gets compressed together. I'm gonna go back and colors. See the lights coming in from so there. A little bit there. It wouldn't be like that. It would be like, I don't know. Shadows are very difficult to guess at. Another thing where it's really helpful to have references. But where are you going to find a reference of this exact thing? You know what I mean? I will simply 3D model everything that I do and draw that way. Some artist sounds like. There we go. Now it stands out a little bit. Oh, I really like that. I like the way that came out. Okay, tooting my own horn here. I did good. Now what should we color? We got so many options. Let's do the blue stuff, I guess. La blue stuff. That's in my blue palette. That's Blue-green palette or blue-violet palette? Blue-green. I think we started from the violet palette, and that's why this is so ugly. Oh yeah, separate it first. You don't want to color on your flats layer. That would be crazy. Oh, I got muted that mic again. I gotta figure out what button that is. Let's just go into settings right now and check it, actually. But I could turn it off, whatever it is. Hotkeys. Apparently it's Control G. How am I hitting Control G? Oh, that's the same shortcut that I used to select a color gamut. Oh. Okay, we're just gonna delete that. There we go. No mute and unmute. Perfect. And I'm gonna readjust myself. Sit on my leg. Oh yeah, and I don't have gum in my mouth. We're gonna call it gum. I got my gum. Yeah, that was a hard one to figure out because I was like, man, I shouldn't have the mic button key to just a regular key. Didn't occur to me until I was like, oh yeah. Oh, you know what I just noticed that I didn't do that I meant to. This is too. Wanted to add a highlight there. Make that butt stand out a little bit more. Away from the leg. Because the leg is going backwards, so you want the butt to be in the front. You know, there. A little bit of nice dimension, a little detail. God is in the details, as they say. Okay, Kainé. I think this color's back. Just fix this color right now. Purple. I want it to be so purple. There we go. Beautiful. That's Kainé right there. That's Kainé. Pointing at her and saying, that's Kainé. I'm coloring them now. I curse more than Bob Ross. Another comparison. Her blue is real light, so we want to keep it real light too. Who's waving there in that emote there? I don't know that emote. I don't know this Twitch platform. I just stream here. Allegedly get money from them. I should check to see if they ever actually gave me any money, because I feel like I should have earned $100 by now. Probably not, actually. That's just freaking dumb, arbitrary thing. It might be TOS to complain about this on stream. Don't clip me. Nobody clip me. Get me banned for bitching about Twitch. They would ban me with no hesitation. Alright, time to do some serious blending. I like this Copic blender that I downloaded. I don't know who made it, but it's good. Because, like, it doesn't just blend, but it also adds color, too. See? Which can be really helpful. Sometimes it's bad and I have to switch the other blender, the default blender, because it doesn't do that. Because the blender probably shouldn't do that. But it's handy when you're working with this. Because real markers do that. Like you pick up a color on your blender, and then you can use it to like work a little bit, a tiny bit of color into an area. So it's a really good brush that somebody made. Good that it does that. This looks wrong. I don't look at a reference again. Off we go. I think the color is just too bright. Let me try desat. Staring at Google Chrome looking at pictures of Kainé. Yeah, it's just too bright. Something more like that is better. And then I'm actually gonna do a darker color for some of the shadowing. I don't want to get too much color in that. I want it to be more saturated too. So that blue-gray is nice. I'm gonna do like the folds and stuff here. And then this is supposed to be like the bottom of it flipping over. So I want a shade underneath here. It's really hard for me to color and draw fabric. It's just a difficult thing. You know, I'm way more comfortable with just the body than with fabric. Because fabric, who knows what it's doing, man? It's doing all kinds. And different fabrics are going to drape different ways, and it's a lot. And it's another thing, too, where it's a lot easier to find a reference of a body than it is to find a reference of a certain fabric. So you kind of just have to know what you're doing and practice it. Like you can find like a reference of maybe some cotton fabric or something and draw that and then know like, okay, cotton will have folds like this. If it's this thickness of cotton, a lighter cotton will drape like this. Like you could just take a t-shirt, I guess, and lay it over a chair, but you can't get like, I'm not going to get this exact model anywhere to draw from. So I have to just figure it out. This should also shade under it because it's got some drape over it. But there we go. That stands out a little bit. And then I think it just needs highlights now because it is like a satiny fabric. So it should be very shimmery. Too wide a strip there. Okay. And just a light shimmer. Light shimmer. There should be more shading in here too. Not to blender with the marker. This is over. It's not going to be super visible. I feel like I need a darker color too, but this isn't like, there's not a dark shading in this kind of fabric. You know what I mean? So, look. That looks alright though. It's coming together. I do actually need that, and we'll make a little tiny bit dark. A little bit. Oh, and you know what? Actually, we'll not just make it darker, we're going to make it a little more darker blue and purpley. Purple is the color of the shadow. Not always. Depends on the light source, but good shorthand for this is a shadowed area. There, and you can see that more now. There, beautiful. All right, let's go to the lines. Color, look, the colors. Ta-da. I like to do this and like see how much work I've done turning this off and on. Wow, 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 wow. She's come so far. Okay, I'll stop. What color should this? Let's look at a sample again. This should also just be like a nice light outline. Probably in that same bluish gray. We love colors. Probably the same one I did in the shadow here, but I can't do it that exactly because I need to differentiate. So let's a little bit darker. A little bit darker. Okay, and this trim is black here. She's got black lace on the bottom, which I'm not really capturing it as. Oh, look at that skin that I didn't color. Damn it. Skin that likes to. This is why I do this in pieces, because doing it all at once is really daunting. If you just color something and then do the outlines on it, it's much easier to manage. For me, personally. And this should actually make this top stand out more and forward with the black line, hopefully. Ah! Past self, why did you do this? Why did you ink this way? I guess I should not. Okie dokie. See, what I did was, and I normally will ink in a vector layer, then clean up the vector lines. But this time I inked in the vector layer and then I made a raster layer underneath it and added further inking to just darken up some lines and stuff, which would make sense and work, except for it messes up this part of the workflow that I'm doing right now. You go to color something and it's not like combined. And I could probably combine them. I could rasterize the vector layer, but I don't want to rasterize vector layer. You work in vector, but it's really easy to change later if you need to. And you never know. Something might come up and need to be changed. You want to be non-destructive. I guess I could make a copy of it, I guess. Guess. Okay. Same thing. She's got black lace at the end of these gloves. We want to leave that intact as black. Oh, there's coffee up. Oh. I'll have to get some of that later. I'm really liking the way this is coming out. I always do this with Merit where I'm like working on it and I'm like, oh, this looks really good. And then when it's finally done, I'm like, I don't really like this. So I need to stick with the, this is really good. I'm doing a good job. Because I am doing a good job. But it's pretty nice looking. I like it. All right, what should we color next? Combine that already. Okay, let's do the white. I think it's also her panties. Yeah. And again, I'm gonna look at my reference that you can't see, which is just a Google image search for Kainé Nier. So you could see if you did that also. And look at all the pictures that I'm looking at. So I can just get an idea of what I want to do. Sometimes it's hard when you're drawing a popular character or a character that's been around a while and you try to look for references like this because there's so much fan art and you don't want to copy someone else's fan art. Like I always try to just use the original game art or whatever or the concept art as the reference because you don't want to steal something from some other fan artist. You know. But it's hard sometimes because there is a lot of fan art of Kaine. And the fan arts will, I mean, the problem with that is the fan arts will have views and angles and stuff that somebody else did the work figuring out. Like, oh, she'd look like this if she's sitting on her side from behind, you know. Uh, and so then it's like, well, I guess I'm kind of like ripping off work because you put the thought into that, and I don't want to do that. But sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But not that you should copy people, but you know what I'm rambling. I'm just rambling. I'm just rambling. I still don't know what I'm doing. For some reason, I don't like coloring white colors because I feel like it's really easy to mess them up. Like they don't look quite right. You know what I mean? You just really got to stick to grayscales a lot and just build your way up in the darkness. But let's start with their panties. I'm not really also doing like a ton of detail on this either. Like I could, if I was that kind of artist, really go through and like add a lace pattern here, but I really am not a very detail oriented artist. That kind of stuff drives me insane. I would like to be better about it and I should work on that. But doing stuff like lace patterns is just so time consuming and difficult and I don't really have a workflow for it. That's what part of what has been putting me off. I was going to do my new VTuber design and the design that I have intended for her, it has like a pretty complicated knit sweater pattern. That's like it's called the owl pattern. And it's a really cool looking pattern and it'll look really cool, but I have to make sure it doesn't look sloppy. You know what I mean? It's got to look nice and neat. So I have to take the time to figure out how I'm doing that. And I'll probably have to just like make a pattern that can be repeated and then mesh adjust it. But I have not put the work into that yet. So that's my cheat lazy lace pattern here is just dotting it with my marker. You get the idea. You get the idea. It's supposed to be lacy. Okay, so the light, like this much of her leg, I think should be lit up. Maybe that's her body's in front of it too, so her body's gonna be blocking some of that. There's neck. It's gonna be all dark because it's right behind her head. Just scumbling it in right here. Art terminology for the day. Scumble. And you just shade by doing this. I might be remembering that word wrong, actually. It doesn't sound right. It sounds like a stupid word. How long have I been streaming? Oh, we've been working on this for an hour already? Wow. Learning takes. I think I should still be able to finish it because I'm got all the big pieces are done. Gotta get the white here, and then like her facial features, the flower, and then white vice up here, and also the inside of the panties. I forgot I should have added those different. I don't know if I'll do the inking for the text on stream or not. Maybe. Be nice to just have it finished. But that part's not as entertaining to watch, I don't think. Watching somebody ink letters. I definitely want, like... Oh, I'm still in the blender. I was like, why is this not working? Wait, I'm not on the blender. Why isn't this working? Not dark enough, I guess. I want that to be a little bit. This kind of got to fold in where the bandages are wrapped. Draw Bummy. A Bummy would be fun to draw. Say as I'm drawing Kainé's bandages. Draw Kainé as the mummy. Actually, I didn't. I drew a mummy. Was that last year or the year before for Halloween? One of my monster drawings ended up being like a sexy mummy. I felt embarrassed about it afterwards because that's what I do when I draw a sexy drawing. Quite embarrassed about myself. Oops. This is where I don't want the blender to have that much color in it. Okay. And I think this might be like a little too dark up here, so I'm going to just take the airbrush and go over it real fast. Lighten it up a little bit. Especially on that side. Yeah, I like that better. Maybe down here too a little bit. Because then I'm going to take this very gently over some of these seams of the bandage. Gently, I say. Okay, see, this, I should not be using this. I should be using the felt pen and just on a small brush. Too big. It's like a 5-pixel brush. That's all I need. All you need is 5 pixels. Give this some more dimension. Do that with the lace up here too. And probably just do something like this and give it more of a lace feel. This is stippling, by the way, when you just add dots. That word I do remember for sure. You ever look at, I actually gotta show you this because it's really cool, but like, stippling is like, drawings like, oh, hang on, I gotta find something I can actually copy. Pinterest sucks for Google image search results, which is better for people who put their stuff up and don't want it. copied, but looking for a good example so you can see what I'm talking about. That'll work. Okay, so look at this. Oh, it's tiny. You see the dots that are shaded that way? That's stippling. And it is a really cool effect, and it is a pain in the butt to do. Because you just have to be it's so time consuming because you just each individual dot and you just like slowly build it up in areas where it needs to be darker. But it does come out really cool looking. That's a pretty basic example. Okay, what were we doing? Lines. It's so many dots, but that was like I said, like that was a basic example. I should find something that's more. Here, I'll just link this blog post in the chat. Because the effect is really cool. Like, I love it, but I am way too lazy. Anyway, let's stipple some bandies. Yeah, it is nuts, you know? And at that point, it's like, it's almost a meditative process, I feel like, to just do all that dot shading, you know? Because that's how I felt when I've done stuff like that before, where like, or when I'm coloring fur, like I've colored some complicated fur on things before, and it's really just like very meditative. You just kind of zone out and just make your lines and work on it. And that's what that stippling is like too. That does look more like lace. I like that. All right, let's try lines. I like art. One of my regrets in life is that I go through phases where I don't draw very often. If I just consistently draw in my whole life, I'd be very good at it now. I'd just be kind of okay at it. I feel like I've really made a lot of progress though since I just started again. The last couple of years, I really feel like I've come a long way. So I need to keep it up. That's why I'm doing an art stream. Because I just wanted to be doing this rather than gaming right now. That's the problem is video games are very addictive, and I like to play them a lot. Okay, I feel like that should be darker here. That real fast. Also, I think I use the airbrush more now because I work in Clip Studio Paint now. I worked in Photoshop for years, and I feel like the airbrush in Photoshop was not nearly as gentle, you know? Makes a big difference. You don't want a really harsh airbrush. There's a lot of things about Clip Studio Paint I just like working in more than Photoshop in general. It's just it's a very good program for doing illustration. Highly recommend. Much cheaper than Photoshop too. Much, much, much. Okay, is this done? I think this is done. I'm gonna say this is done. Let's color the lines. Ah, got my neck there. Oh yeah, I forgot I have to still do her leg thing, whatever that is. I'm not should figure out what that is because I have to color it. And it helps to know what a thing is to color it. Right like that. I'll make my own music with humming, and then I will lose all of my viewers. This is tricky too because I have the lace right here. But that's part of why I color the lines though, because now you can see that it's this cord here and not the lace. You couldn't tell before, but now you know, because one is black and one is. Just gives you more sophistication. I need to watch more Columbo. I don't know what made me just think about that, but actually, no, I do know what made me think about that is I heard the clock time, the 6 o'clock alarm. It's already 6. I started streaming late. Gotta get going. The cat needs his dinner. Um, there was an episode of Columbo where that was the gotcha at the end. Was that he figured out that somebody wasn't where he was said he was because there was no clock chiming in the background, like there should have been. That was the football episode. He's about football. Columbo's a big football fan. You learn in that episode, which isn't surprising. It's a very Columbo thing to like football. Very Columbo pastime. Damn it, me! Why did I do this? I trace over blinds I can't trace over. This is the way I built my file. Okay, all these lines down. It's really close to done. It's getting there. I can probably zoom it along here and get it done in the next 20 minutes. Love coloring. I'm so happy. The act of doing it. I really need to just force myself to do it every day. Or just doing art in general. It really does, like, you get endorphins in your brain saying, oh, happy times, times. That's why art therapy works. Drug. Give yourself any time. Okay. Let's color this weird lake thing. Not gonna look at up there. Still select it. Okay. Hit buttons that were not right. Anything you layer? Do myself thoroughly. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna do some quick and dirty shading on this one. Boop, 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 boop. Wrong button. J is the button for the blender for some reason. Don't know why. It is. Take it up with Clip Studio Paint. Again, I don't know what this thing on her leg is, but this looks like what it looks like, I think. And then we just need to do the little buckles. Looking good, Kainé. Looking good. Oh, yeah, I guess I should. Whatever. Ever. Good thing to color because it shows the belts actually going around it. Dimension. Very important to have dimension. Oh no. Something bad. Okay, we'll fix. We fixed. Okay. Now what? Now what are we coloring? Hop, hop. We've made so much progress. Let's color the inside of her pant. Oh, her gloves too. I gotta color her hands. Oh, hands take a while. Do the inside of her. This should be. All we're gonna do is we're gonna get airbrush and just kind of that, flat. Because it's just like it's a mesh fabric that she's got going on. Pretty sure. And then what we can do too is get some white in there, which is the same color we want here. Add some lines. Very subtle, but it works. Good. See, her gloves should be more black, I think. Let me look at her art real fast. I don't know why I colored them brown. Are they like a brown leather? I feel like they're more of a black leather. Yeah, they're definitely more of a black leather. So what was I thinking? What was I doing? Nobody knows. Blue color for platinum and lower the saturation. There we go. Now we're talking. And we just have to go in and add some. Oh, you don't want to work in something this black, but whatever. Not for print, it's just for the internet. Hands are hard to color, just like they're hard to draw. They're not as hard to color as like fabric. But if you have gloves on, then it gets you a whole level of complicated because you've got hand shape and fabric, and you have to contend with both. But leather gloves are pretty easy. It's pretty stiff. Leather is just skin after all. Somebody else's skin. I'm not going to put too much work into these. I just need to get the general idea. Should actually, ooh, too big. Too much airbrush. And it's folded there, so it's gonna be darker down here. Okay, then let's add some highlights. Very important in this line of work to add highlights. I'm not sure that makes any sense. Something's missing here. Section. Something's just whack about these hands, but I don't know what it is, and I'm not redrawing it to fix it, so. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Like, you should be able to see her fingers, I feel like. But you can't. Maybe I made these too dark. They're just sloppily drawn. You can't, pig on a pig, pearls on a pig? Is that it? Pearls before swine? No, that's not it. Lipstick. What I'm saying. The gloves are done. We're calling. I might actually call it here because it's getting kind of late and I still have to do eyes and stuff. So, I got most of it done though. Oops. That's Kainé. Thank you for watching me color. I'll actually play a video game at some point. On my stream probably. If you're new to the channel, give me a follow if you want. I will be here. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.